Good morning and welcome to the Chamley Channel podcast. My name is Clint Chamley and I am going to talk about sports. We are here with Brian James. Say hello, Brian.
Hello.
So, let's go ahead and start off with a hot topic. The Mets are on a losing streak, as everybody knows. They have struggled ever since they traded for Javier Baez, and they are booing their own fans. They are giving them thumbs down before every at-bat. Every time they get a base hit, they are booing their fans. I don't agree with this. I think the fans have a right to boo you if you do bad. And that's the reason they started all this. Because they're not, what are they going to do? Cheer for you if you're doing bad?
I totally agree with you. I don't think it's good because they support. If you support, you get more. See? And you go from there. More sellings. Just don't agree with it at all.
Javier Baez is also one of the main guys leading this year, booing their own fans thing. And he was just recently traded for. That's not a good look on your new team to go ahead and start booing your own fans. I don't think that's going to go over well
At all.
So we're going to move on to our next topic. Going to wrestling real quick. This is our only wrestling topic. CM Punk returns to pro wrestling after leaving for the first time since leaving WWE. He debuted in AEW. He's got an all-out match against Darby Allin soon. Thoughts on that?
I think honestly that puts AEW above WWE with possible people coming in like Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman. Possibility to go right over WWE.
They got a good roster now, but do you think AEW will ever be able to outsell the WWE?
Probably not. Vince McMahon, great at managing the company, and he'll probably always be on top.
I agree 100%. Although I do think AEW is going to get a lot more revenue, a lot more attention after this. All right, J.K. Dobbins. He tore his ACL. What's that going to do to the Ravens?
You got Gus, power runner more of. I think Ravens will be fine. They still got Lamar at quarterback. They'll probably pass a little more. Still run their option. I don't think it impacts them as much.
I agree. I think he's a great runner. I think it's going to hurt because they do like to run the ball quite a bit. But I think they can easily throw a little bit more because they do have an MVP on their team. And I think it'll work out just fine for them. All right, we're going to move on to basketball here. What do you think about the Lakers, quote-unquote, super team that a lot of people disagree about?
I mean, they don't got that many shooters, but I think with the veterans they have a possibility of going all the way. But I think the Nets still probably have the best team.
I agree. I think the Nets do have the better super team, but I'm not going to be one of those guys who say Lakers don't have a super team. You have LeBron James, probably the highest IQ of all of basketball besides maybe Chris Paul. He's still on top even though he's, 35, 36 now.
Yeah,
he's old. He's still insane. You got AD. He's young, athletic, defensive monster, getting boards. And then Russell Westbrook. Everybody who's played with Russell Westbrook has an MVP season. Even though everybody thinks he's selfish, everybody he's played with has had their best season with him. He's averaged a triple-double. His shooting stats may be a little bit on the down low, but he's got teammates to make up for that. He's not going to need to take as many shots.
Exactly. Like you said, he averaged a triple-double last year. Carried the Wizards to the playoffs or the play-in?
He carried them to the playoffs, and they definitely... If they didn't have Russell Westbrook and they just had Bradley Beal, they're not making it to that. He took the Wizards team who had no right being in the playoffs to the playoffs.
No, not at all. You are right.
So that's going to take us right into the 2K ratings, where the 2K rated him an 85 overall.
Exactly. LaMelo at an 84?
LaMelo's an 84. That's way too close.
high.
LaMelo's had one season, and Russell Westbrook came off averaging, 22 and points, is it 10 and 10?
10.
Like, that's a triple-double one way or another. His shooting stats weren't even that bad. It's actually, that's in any other year, that's an MVP-style season that we just had so many candidates this year.
Yeah, I believe he should be like a 91 probably.
I was thinking 91, 92.
Yeah.
Is there any other ratings you were very iffy about that you saw? I personally think Zion's too low, but I am a Zion fanboy. I think he should be up there. He's had a great season, but he's in New Orleans. He's not getting the attention.
I think he's fine. He's good at that rating.
All right, we're going to move into the NFL Top 100 rankings, and specific the top 10. What do you think about the top 10 NFL 100 rankings?
Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he's a top player. The fact that he was an MVP last year with Aaron Rodgers, I think he should have been number one. It's sad that you don't have the MVP at the top of your rankings.
I disagree 100%. I think Patrick Mahomes earned that number one spot because he's simply carrying a team to and he did so much better in the Super Bowl than what anybody else would have done. He had no offensive line. He does it. He continues to play amazing. He was not MVP because he didn't have the better season. That doesn't mean he's not the better player.
Wasn't he out for a bit, right? A few games? Turf toe?
No, he was not out for any games, I do not believe. He had surgery for turf toe in the offseason. All right, we're going to move on to any rookie in the preseason of the NFL impress you quite a bit.
I think honestly, Mac Jones completed a lot of passes.
Mac Jones, he got Cam Newton cut.
People say it's because he wasn't vaccinated. I don't think so. Bill Belichick even came out and said it.
I personally am very impressed with a lot of the rookie QBs. I think Mac Jones outperformed what everybody thought. He's looking Tom Brady-esque. It's exactly what Tom Brady would have done. Throw the short routes, throw them accurately. Justin Fields, he had some pretty good throws. He wasn't, the most consistent, but he had some pretty good throws. He got popped hard. He came right back up. Trevor Lawrence, and then he only played one game. Yeah,
he throw the Marvin Jones Jr. though.
Yeah, he looks exactly like everybody predicted him to be. He's going to be average at worst. I don't think we have to worry about Trevor Lawrence and what's going to happen with him. Najee Harris, he had a decent preseason thing. I think he's going to be an average running back. I don't know if he can be much more, but he's going to be a solid running back for the Steelers.
Patrick Surtain got a pick six. Pretty nice pick six.
That's going to add to the Broncos. The Broncos defense is going to be scary this year.
Von Miller's back.
When's Bradley Chubb come back? Is he coming back?
I think so.
Didn't he tear his ACL?
I think that was last year later in the season.
So hopefully he's back. The Broncos got a scary D.
Straight up, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have a throwback here. Luka Doncic's Olympic run. In my opinion, he deserves that gold medal more than America did. He didn't even get a medal, and he absolutely outplayed everybody, every country. Thoughts on that?
I totally agree. He brought Slovenia to the first Olympic Games for basketball they've ever been to, and he carried them almost to the gold medal match as they lost to France because of Nicolas Batum's block. Crazy block.
I got to support Nicolas Batum. He's on my Clippers, but Luka Doncic, you can't say anything but how good that was. It was amazing of him. That brings us to who's the better Olympic player of all time, Kevin Durant or Carmelo Anthony?
Carmelo, great scorer, but I got to go with KD. He's consistent throughout the whole thing and still doing it, even though most stars aren't even doing Olympics anymore.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Kevin Durant, he's just arguably the greatest scorer of all time. In the Olympics, he's been consistent. He's always on our team. He's always leading the team. I got to agree. Moving on to Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. That's the most recent fight. I mean, Jake Paul won by split decision after clearly losing the fight. Do you think it's rigged?
No, not at all. Woodley had some good punches, but I think Woodley's going to get that tattoo to run it back. I think Woodley at least has it at second match.
I disagree 100%. I think Tyron Woodley won that fight, and he was paid off to lose it. The judges they knew who they were going to have win going in. There was a part of that match where Woodley rocked Paul, had him leaning, and he did not follow up at all. It's like he knew his job was not to finish him.
Yeah, he was hanging on the ropes, wasn't he?
He was. He was leaned back against the ropes, and Woodley let him get back. You let him recover. Going right back to basketball, the Bulls' playoff run. You think their potential playoff run after adding a lot of big pieces. Do you think that's going to happen?
I think so. With the weakness of the Eastern Conference compared to the Western Conference, I think the Bulls have lots of weapons able to make a run for the playoffs. 3rd seed probably, behind Philadelphia and the Bucks.
I agree that they'll be high, but I don't think they'll be that high. You got the Nets up there too that you forgot about. You got the Bucks. You got the Sixers. I think the Hawks will be up there again. I think they're going to have a very good team with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is very underrated. He makes any team he's going to go to better. But I think they're going to have a decent playoff run. I don't think they're going to go all that way. I don't think they're even going to go to the semifinals, but I think they're going to win in that first round, and they're going to show this season that they're a winning team.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, did the Clippers screw themselves with the Patrick Beverley, Eric Bledsoe trade?
No, I don't think so. I love Pat Bev with his defense, but like his personality isn't the greatest on the court and likes to get technicals sometimes. Eric Bledsoe, I think, will be better addition, and he'll be like better chemistry-wise for the team.
I do agree with that. Patrick Beverley definitely brought the D. He did get a lot of technicals that could hurt us at times, but I do not think this is a great trade because Eric Bledsoe has had a lot of issues with consistency and shooting and all that. And Patrick Beverley he brought energy. Even if he brought those technicals, he had energy coming, just fuming off of him, and that could help. Just one defensive stop, hard defense, and then he got the Clippers going. All right, next up, the Nets obviously have a super team, but can they stay healthy enough to go to the finals? Thoughts?
James Harden had that lingering hamstring issue throughout all last season. Tried to fight through it. I think he'll be healthy, and the whole team will get healthy. Spencer Dinwiddie went to the Washington, even though he wasn't there last season because of his torn ACL. So it won't impact them as much. So I think they'll still be great.
I think they'll have a good playoff run. I don't know if I see him winning the finals, though, because Kyrie, he's always had ankle injuries. It's hard to see if he'll stay healthy. I think Kevin Durant's probably going to stay the healthiest out of everybody. Joe Harris had issues shooting in the playoffs after a very good regular season like he always has. And most importantly, that hamstring issue with James Harden. Can he get it healthy, or is he just going to always have that? And when he was an MVP candidate, when he didn't have that injury, once he got it, he immediately dropped out. He underperformed very, very much. And depth. Do they have enough depth?
They got Blake Griffin. I don't know if he's going to start or not, but he had a great dunk on Giannis. Looked like prime Blake, to be honest. Wasn't bad.
I do agree. Blake's an underrated piece for them, but I don't know if they have the depth to make up for their star players if they ever get injured or get tired. Because they had KD playing the entire game plus in playoffs. You just can't be having that and expect him to come out and drop 50 every night, which he did, but you can't just expect that consistently. We're going to go on to are the Bucks going to repeat?
I don't honestly think the Chiefs tried the strat of bringing everyone back and it didn't work. But
so, can the Bucks repeat? Can they go back to the NBA Finals? Can they win it?
I do not believe so. I think they still don't have enough talent, even though Giannis carried them the NBA Finals last year. And I believe the Nets will actually win it all.
I don't think the Bucks can repeat either. Giannis, he's been insane. Back-to-back MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year one of those years. He had a case for MVP this year, but nobody was going to vote for him 3 times in a row because of voter fatigue. But he had a legitimate case. He's great. He can carry the Bucks, but when he can't shoot threes, Drew Holiday was inconsistent in the finals inconsistent in the playoffs until the finals. And Chris Middleton, he's either Michael Jordan or he's literally irrelevant. Shooting like worse than Giannis from the 3. That's bad. He's a horrible 3-point shooter unless he's having an MJ game. And you can't be having that from your second best player. I don't think he's good enough to be the second best player on a winning team. He was this year because of injuries, but I don't know if they can repeat. Brook Lopez, he's a great piece, but he's not going to be somebody to carry you.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to improve and get some new weapons for that team.
We're going to move on to the, since we're talking about the Bucs, does Giannis at the age of 26 already have a Hall of Fame resume?
I do not think so. I think he needs to keep it up because you can't judge someone way too early in his career. He still has a lot left, but he will end up being in the Hall of Fame.
He's going to end up in the Hall of Fame, but I'm saying if he retires today, he would be in the Hall of Fame. If you look at his resume, if you look at his stats, anything, he has the greatest stats of any 26-year-old ever. He's already won back-to-back MVPs, Finals MVP, Finals champion, Defensive Player of the Year. He averages, like 28 points. He's insane. Nobody's found a way to stop him. He's getting more consistent from the three. He's going to be great. But as of right now, with his stats, he has a better chance of making the Hall of Fame than almost anybody, and he's only 26, in my opinion. He has a better resume than people already in the Hall of Fame, and if they made it, he can make it if he retired right now. He's not going to. He's definitely a for sure Hall of Famer because he's got so many years ahead of him, but he's already got a Hall of Fame. All right, so that brings up, who's the best player in basketball right now?
KD. I'm going to go KD. Great scorer. The only thing that stopped him from moving on in the playoffs was his shoe size. Because, to make that shot, he turned around would have been an insane shot.
I do agree, KD is insane. I think he's the best pure scorer of all time in basketball, but I got to go with Giannis. Nobody's found out a way to stop him. He's carried the Bucks to the finals, and given there were injuries on the team, and it was KD's foot size, but he came to play. He has once he gets the three-point shooting out, there's no stopping him, and you already can't stop him. He's getting as many rebounds as he wants. He controls the paint against 7-footers, which he's basically 7 foot. What are you going to do to stop him? What are you going to do?
You're right, there's not much. You just protect the paint a little more.
And he's insane on defense. He's an insane defender. You can't do anything about that. All right, since we're talking about repeating, will the Buccaneers repeat?
I do not believe so. When they bring back every single person from their roster starting, the Chiefs did that before, and they ended up losing. So I do not think the Buccaneers will have enough weapons again to repeat this year.
I do agree with you. I do not think they can repeat. It is so hard to repeat in the game of football. You have one game, you mess up one game, you're done. The Chiefs got really close to it. They couldn't get the job done, and I personally don't think we're going to see a team repeat for a long, long time. Tom Brady's going to get old. He's bound to have a down season eventually. It's hard telling when that's going to happen. I'm not saying it will this year, but Mike Evans, he's been insane. Chris Godwin's been insane. They got young talent, but they're going to slip up eventually, and it's going to cost them.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, so we're going to switch to baseball real quick. Can the Yankees ride the momentum into the playoffs after trading for Joey Gallo?
I do not think so. They may get into the playoffs, but I think they may be a first-round exit because I don't think they can compete with the super teams of the Dodgers with how they traded for Trey Turner and Max Scherzer.
I think that they will ride the momentum. I think they'll probably make the wild card, something like that. I think they'll win the wild card, but I don't see them making farther than that. They're still going to be able to ride it some. I'm not saying they'll get swept. I think it'll be a close series against whoever they end up playing, depending on how the end of the regular season goes. But, they've been on fire. Their pitching's gotten significantly better. Jarrett Cole figured out how to play baseball. Joey Gallo, they traded for him. He's Joey Gallo. He's going to hit some bombs. They got the most momentum in all of baseball right now. All right, so recent news, Cam Newton was cut from the Patriots.
As a Patriot fan myself, I do think this will improve Mac a lot, give him more confidence and able to lead the offense more like Brady did when he became starter after Bledsoe got hurt. I think they are a playoff team if they can handle the wide receiver core.
I cannot disagree more. They are not a playoff team. They won't be much competitors for the playoffs, actually, in my opinion. They have the Bills in their conference. They have the Dolphins in their conference. Or in their division, my bad. My apologies. I mean, they're not even going to be the second best in their division. Like, I don't know how you expect them to make the playoffs. I don't agree with Cam Newton being cut either. I mean, he hasn't been good, but I think he should have started maybe a week or two, then give it Mac Jones. But if they're really confident Mac Jones, have him start, but keep Cam as a backup. But I think what this really shows is how confident Bill Belichick is in Mac Jones to cut his biggest competition and just give him free reign.
Yeah, greatest coach of all time. Whatever he says goes.
So, what are your thoughts on Mac Jones and how he'll perform as he's now been named the starter and has no significant competition?
I do not think he'll be Rookie of the Year status. I still think Trevor Lawrence will probably still take that home because, like, best athlete hyped up since Andrew Luck, and he'll just ride that right to being Rookie of the Year.
I don't think Mac Jones will be Rookie of the Year. I do think he'll be a very good rookie. I think he'll be a lot more consistent than any other rookie. He's going to be very much like Tom Brady, in my opinion. He's been known to throw those checkdowns and those accurate slants, and it's worked out for Tom Brady just fine. I think he's obviously not going to be as good as Tom Brady, but I do think he's going to be a very solid quarterback and a very good starter in this league. So, on the topic of rookie quarterbacks, who's going to be the best rookie quarterback? Who's going to have the best rookie season out of all the quarterbacks drafted?
Trevor Lawrence, straight up. Hyped up, like I said. I think he's even got a few receivers in Marvin Jones and DJ Chark. I think Marvin Jones, he was on the Lions, so I mean he kind of struggled, even though Matthew Stafford was a great quarterback. And then following up Trevor Lawrence, I think I'm going to go with Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and I don't think Trey Lance is going to be as great as people say. Jimmy Garoppolo is probably going to get the starting job, in my opinion.
I personally think that Justin Fields is going to be the best rookie. I mean, has he been declared the starter?
Or is that Andy Dalton still got it?
I like that situation. I think once Justin Fields comes in, even though he'll be a few games behind everybody, he's going to be able to come in and make an immediate impact, and he's going to end up winning Rookie of the Year because he's just going to be insane once he comes in. Trevor Lawrence has the advantage of already being named the starter, but he's got all these expectations. Justin Fields can just go out and ball out, and he's got Allen Robinson to throw to, Darnell Mooney to throw to. I mean, he's got some good weapons too. I think he'll make a good impact. So we're going to go to what's your thoughts on Trey Lance and Justin Fields' situation of being named the backup, but most likely to take over after a few weeks?
I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe he said, John Lynch said that Garoppolo was playing the best football he's ever seen him play. So I think Trey Lance should be the backup to Jimmy as of right now until Jimmy struggles. And Andy Dalton, why would you not bring him in to start him at least a few games? Because Andy Dalton is a decent quarterback. Like, granted, he wasn't great for the Cowboys last year, but he had great years on the Bengals with A.J. Green in his prime.
I personally like the whole rookie quarterback is the backup for a few games, and then he takes over. It doesn't put as much pressure on him. Usually that works out better. I like the situation. I think Justin Fields will have a great situation that year. I'm a big Trey Lance fan. I think he has the lowest floor out of every quarterback, but he has the highest ceiling. So I think that he can either be great or horrible, but I think he can end up being great. He's Jimmy Garoppolo. Should start for the first 3-4 weeks, and then I think he should take over. I think he can be insane. If anybody's going to make him good, it's going to be the 49ers. I mean, he's in a good situation.
Chiefs did that situation with Mahomes when they had Alex Smith. Mahomes, I mean, what can you say? It turned out great for him.
Is there any specific fantasy football picks that you think are just absolute sleepers? You got to pick them up in the later rounds.
Damian Harris, I think he's going to be better than most people are thinking. He could give you a solid, ESPN-wise, probably 12 points per week, which is pretty good because they have a great running back core, but he's that starting running back you can always go to.
I agree. I do think Damian Harris is an absolute sleeper pick. I was going to pick him up, but he got drafted before I could pick him up, unfortunately. He's got the starting job. He had a pretty good preseason. It's hard arguing with that. In my personal opinion, Darnell Mooney. I think he's Bears receiver. He had a good season last year. He's going to have Justin Fields after the first few weeks if everything goes how I think it will. Andy Dalton's a good quarterback to throw to him. I mean, I think he's going to have an underrated year. What's your thoughts on Shohei Ohtani absolutely carrying the baseball phase right now?
Two-way player. He just hits home runs. First half of the season, like, people are still shocked by it. And second, like, calm down, even though he's still doing the same exact thing as he was in the first half of the season. And I think he will be the MVP.
I agree. I also think he will be an MVP. He's playing the best two-way baseball we've ever seen. He's pitching insane. He's hitting insane. He hits straight home runs. Yeah, I think he's keeping up with how he's doing in the first half, maybe a tad bit slower. But he's suddenly you're not hearing as much about him, so you don't realize how good he's still doing. I mean, we've never seen somebody quite this good, except for maybe Babe Ruth, playing both ways. I mean, it's insane what he's doing. He is the absolute face of baseball right now.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so we have a little bit of time left, not too long. We're going to make quick Week 1 NFL predictions. So we're going to try to do this quickly since there's a lot of games. So what is the first game?
Cowboys versus Buccaneers.
I think that's obviously going to be the Buccaneers. They're the reigning champs. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah, even with Dak coming back, Buccaneers got it.
All right, Jaguars versus Texans. But first, is Deshaun Watson going to play?
I do think so.
If Deshaun Watson plays, I think the Texans are going to take that. But if he does not, I think it's obviously got to go to Jaguars' favor. They're the Jaguars.
I think I still got Jaguars no matter what, even if Deshaun plays, because they got Brandon Cooks as their number 1 wide receiver. He's good, but not like star.
And Jaguars got some good young pieces. All right, next game, Chargers and Washington football team. I got the Chargers. They're underrated. They were starting to look up last season. Justin Herbert will take strides. Austin Eckler. What else can you say?
Yeah, I got Chargers too. Justin Herbert will be a great quarterback and will continue to improve.
And they got an insane defense. Seahawks Colts. Carson Wentz has been recently told he has been activated again. But I still got Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks are always consistent, always a good team.
I agree. Pete Carroll, great coach. And when you have Russell Wilson as your quarterback, I mean, you can do whatever.
Jets, Panthers. I got Panthers. Sam Darnold's revenge game. I mean, Jets are never good. Sam Darnold's revenge game. He's going to go off. Panthers win.
I agree. Panthers too. CMC is back. So, Panthers take it.
Vikings, Bengals. I got Vikings. I mean, Bengals, if Joe Burrow's back, they have a chance, but I still got Vikings.
I got Vikings. Justin Jefferson will go off. Yeah.
Cardinals, Titans. I got Titans. They're just going to run it down their throat, even though the Cardinals are a good team.
Titans because Derrick Henry.
49ers, Lions. 49ers, Lions are always trash.
I totally agree with that.
Steelers, Bills. Bills are going to be super good this year.
I agree. Josh Allen, great season.
Falcons, Eagles. I got Eagles. Falcons are just Falcons.
I got Falcons because Kyle Pitts and Matt Ryan will be a great combination for him.
Chiefs, Browns, Chiefs. All the way. They're insane.
I agree. Chiefs will take it. Browns are also a hyped-up team, but Chiefs got it.
Packers, Saints. I got Packers, but I do believe the Saints will do good with Jameis Winston.
I got Packers because I don't think Saints will be as good this year, but they'll still be decent.
Broncos, Giants. I got Broncos. Their defense is coming back. They're looking good.
Same there.
Patriots, Dolphins. I got Dolphins personally. I think Tua might have a sophomore slump, but they're still going to take the dub.
I got Patriots. I don't think Tua's the answer in Miami.
We got Bears, Rams. I got Rams. Their defense is too good, and they got Andy Dalton starting, who's good, but he's not going to handle the Rams D.
Yeah, I got Rams. They got Matthew Stafford now as the quarterback, so they're ready to compete.
Andy, last game is Raiders, Ravens. Ravens are going to take that, let's be honest.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's got it in the bag.
Oh, and also, we don't have time to talk about this because we're running out of time, but LaMarcus Aldridge and Paul Millsap have recently come back to the Nets. They have an even bigger super team.
That improves their odds way more, even though they were already very high.
It adds the depth they desperately needed. It's perfect. Love it.